Okay, so let's try and examine this code a little bit further. First of all, I think it's a good idea to look at this. Look at args if else, and that tells you if else takes some arguments, and this tells you what they're called in the definition of if else. So they're called tests. So the test is whether something is true or not, and then if it's true, whatever you put in here will happen, and if it's not true, whatever you put in here will happen. And also, we can refer to, since we said that it's a vectorized function, that means that the test doesn't have to be a single test, but it can be a whole vector of tests, which is what we do when we do something like this. So this is, remember, day of the week is a whole vector, and so because of what we called recycling, we're going to test all of the different elements of day of the week. So this test can be a whole vector of a whole vector test and a whole vector of results. So what happens when we test this is, remember, this is a whole vector, so this is going to be extended to a whole vector, and so we're going to get as a result, let's try this one. I spelt that wrong. Try that. See if this works. Okay, so we're going to get a whole vector of results. So I think there's 81 observations. So there's 81 results. So here the test is going to be a whole vector, and so this will also be a whole vector, or it could be a vector. So we could do different things for each yes or for each true result in test. But actually we're just going to do one thing. We're just going to put a 1 there. But in the case of no, we are going to have something a little bit different. So let's shorten this a little bit so that we're not quite as long as it was here, or here rather. Not quite as long as it is here. Let's just make it 1, 2, and what do I have? 1, 2, and 3. So let's think about just this one. The rest is obvious once we understand this one. So what happens is, we just saw what the result of this is. So this is a whole vector of true and false. Now suppose that let's see, was the first one true or not? No, the first one was false. So okay, let's take that example. So suppose that the first one is false, then 1 does not get executed, and then this gets executed, because this is taking the place of no. So what happens is we have to run this whole thing again, and then when we run this whole thing, whoops, I have to do it with, don't I? So I do it with, and now this is going to be run, and we're going to get, of course, another vector. It's different than this vector. So this one is true at the beginning, so I guess the first day was a Tuesday. So then we're still working on the first one though. So and it is true, so it gets this assignment. If that wasn't true, then it would get this assignment, or as the original code has another if else there. So then it would run another if else, still working on the first element, and then it would continue like that. Okay, so but anyway, it turns out to be 2. So then then we go to the second element in the first vector, meaning we go to here and it was false. So then we check again the nested if-else statement, and that one is also false, so then we have to go to the third one. We'd have to run a third one, and so on. And this is the way the code would proceed. So we'll end up, though, with converting our day of the week into a new variable. We're creating a new variable. Actually, we're not converting anything. We're creating a new variable which has 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s, 5s, 6s, and 7s in it. So we could even, let's run that and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Okay, and then let's get this and print it out and see. We should have something. Our new variable is like that. And we're going to get rid of the day of the week variable also. Or I should say, at least we're not going to use it. Okay, now. Okay, so now we have this ordered day of the week variable. Or here it is. And now we're going to convert it into a factor. Or okay, he's going to convert it into a factor. And we're going to give levels of 1 through 7. Remember that if you don't specify the levels, the ordering isn't clear. Now, my understanding is that he should also say order equals true here. That will, so let me show you that. So here, I'm just making up something here. So I'm making up a factor. It has, the elements are 1 through 8, and I'm giving it levels. So let's just create that. And levels are reverse order. So, okay, and then if I do str, the structure of colors, I get this. So it does say that the levels are like that. And I guess yeah, that might be okay. But if you really want them to be recognized as one, this just means that they precede each other. But if you want them to be recognized as one less than another, then you should do something like this instead. Order equals true. That means that you do want them to be ordered. And then if I do structure, you see that it recognizes that they're actually less than. So I'm not sure exactly what the difference is between this one, which is saying that 8 comes before 7, comes before 6, comes before, and this seems stronger, and I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. I guess I'll have to look that up. But anyway, he doesn't give an order equals true in his creating of a factor here. So he just says the levels are 1 through 7, and he also adds labels, which makes it convenient. So we can refer to them by these labels. And these labels will be the things that are displayed as well. Okay, now he's going to plot something. So this is a function we know already, the plot function. Later on we use the XY plot, which we haven't used, but this one we know it. So he's plotting ordered day of the week, and then attend divided by 1000. So he's taking the attendance variable, and he's dividing it by 1000 just to make it smaller on this when it's written. You don't have to write all the zeros on it. And the X label is day of the week, the Y label is attendance, color is violet. So let's try this and see what happens. So we get that. So actually I don't remember that we did this before, but interesting, the days of the week are on the x-axis, and they are not they don't display the, I guess you have to do something special to get the labels to be displayed. They don't display the labels, they just display the numbers. and we have the attendance in thousands. So we looked at the box plot, which was kind of similar to this, but not. This is a little different, right? So here you can see still that I think what was the first day of the week here? Monday. Monday is 1. Tuesday is 2. I think it was Tuesday that had the highest. So here's Tuesday here. We can see the data points exactly where they are. The box plot told us that this was, or the main part of the data was in here, which was higher than it was for Monday. So the box plot kind of makes it clear, but this is actually the real data. So I'm not sure which is true. But anyway, we have both. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is this. And then he does something similar for the, he creates an ordered month variable, very similar to what he did for the ordered day of the week. So let's stop here and then take a look at this one next.